This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
You're listening to INCRadio.
Broadcasting live from Chicago, Illinois. DZEM 954 AM station. Here to bring you great conversations about faith, people, places, culture, and recent events all around the district. Join us on YouTube at INCRadio.org. Hello, Northern Midwest and the rest of the world. It's time to get this show started.
Yes. It is time to get this show started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of INCRadio Chatline. Elsom Janville Cruz here, live here from Rockford, Illinois, here to bring you some news. Yes, I had to lower my seat because I could see my hair getting cut off on the shot. But so today we're going to be talking about. You might not see it there in in our title or in our thumbnail, but we are going to be recapping a recent activity that we've had, which I think everyone kind of enjoyed. If you're here from not Nervous, if you're here in Great Lakes, the activity that we have, which is our CFO Day, CFO Cares activity, where we had different booths representing different countries and different kinds of cuisine. So if you like food, this is one of those topics. This is a food topic, since we're going to be talking about food again. So let's do a quick recap of like what happened with the activity. Of course, we've had we had food, we had performances, we had games. It was so fun. So which among those three, Abe? Everyone, I'm joined here by my friend Abe from Bloomingdale. So Abe, what's your sort of like favorite part of like the event?
I don't I don't want to immediately go to food because food is everyone's favorite thing. But I mean, it was nice to see the variety of food. I think that's my favorite part. Not just the food itself, although everyone who made food made delicious food, I will say. But it's
Mhm.
just cool seeing the variety of the different cultures that each local congregation highlighted, and seeing their efforts in not only making the food but their booth itself. So sticking with the country or the region's theme. So yeah, I would say it is the food. I still a little upset that I didn't get to try everything, but I tried to sample as much as I could. But yeah, if I had more time and probably a larger stomach, I would make sure to grab every piece of food that I could from your locale. For example, I didn't get to try the food, and I still talk to you even about it.
Yeah, you were telling me about
Outside
it.
of
Like
the show.
you didn't get to try like the pho. I feel bad about to say there was a long line, like trying to people trying to get the pho, and it was actually we had like two. Not to brag, but we had like two popular items there. We had like the pho and then like the iced coffee. And although I think with the iced coffee, it was more that they got to make it themselves. I guess that's the appeal of it. Like for me, it was like like you get to put like the caramel, like the milk syrup, and you get to pour yourself like the coffee, and you kind of see it all like mixed. I think that's like kind of like the appeal of it. But yeah, the pho was the pho was nice too. I only got to taste it a little bit because we wanted to leave. Of course, we wanted to leave a lot for the people coming in. They wanted to try the different foods. So speaking of like the food, which one was like among the ones that you actually got to try? Which one is like your favorite?
Ooh. Now I feel like if I mention one, other local congregations who are watching are gonna be like, "Why didn't you like our food?" But no, I do have a soft spot. Well, no, I was gonna say one, but I changed my mind. I was going to say Chicago's Korean booth
Mm.
because it did have a bit of nostalgia. I still think about my trip from last December. So they had the samgyeopsal, the pork belly. They also had the japchae, the noodles, right? The like the clearish noodles that they had. There was kimchi, of course. I think they had like a seaweed salad in there too. But my actual favorite, I am going to say, was Park Ridge's India booth because they
Mm.
had a wide variety of food. They had shout out to Danella and Gian who told me about their butter chicken that they made. It was very delicious. So they had some naan, they had butter chicken. There were a whole bunch of desserts that they had too. So it was a really nice spread. And it did taste really good. So yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to Park Ridge for their booth.
Was
Very
there? I have to ask. Was it like too spicy for you? Because it was for me.
oh,
I mean, to be fair, I'm just not good at handling like spicy, like spicy food.
not all of the maybe I was gonna say you can ask like my family about this. Like with some, for example, like Korean ramens, like that it can be super spicy. You'll see me
Mm.
sweat, but I'm still gonna eat it because I enjoy the flavor. But Park Ridge's food, at least the ones I tried, didn't have to me like it wasn't spicy. Like I don't think butter chicken is normally spicy. Um
Mm.
Unless there were like different curries that I just missed out on. So I guess I need to go back and see if they have any extras or if they can make some. But no, to me, like no, their food wasn't too spicy, but I could see why, some people may be a little hesitant to try it. But
I
no,
feel like I
I
have
enjoyed it.
I feel like I have like a sweet tooth like recently because I the thing that I like was the desserts, and one that I definitely like came back to like I think I had two or three of them was like the iced candy from like the Philippines. Which one was that? Like which one of the
Chicago
Philippines?
North, I assume.
Chicago
Yeah,
North.
the
Yes,
Chicago North.
yes, it was them. I like the iced candy so
Mm-hmm.
much, which it's I would say that it's half nostalgia, half of just like it's we can't really go wrong with that.
Very.
It, it's like it's like sorbet,
Mm-hmm.
in a kind of like like a tube of like plastic, and you kind of you bite off the end, and then you kind of just like you kind of eat it like candy, where you just kind of like suck on it for like for
Mm-hmm.
like a while, and it's like you can't really go wrong with that. Like those are I kept going back to it. And I was like I think I had like two or three, but then it was like I'm gonna get a stomach ache. I keep eating
No,
these.
that's what I was kind of worried about too with all the sweets that we had. Like Park Ridge had
Mm,
I'd compare it to, I forget the name of it, but I'd compare it to like what funnel cake is here.
mm,
But it was like a very sweet, doughy um not really pastry, but you know what I mean? Like it had like a nice like
mm.
syrup on it. It was really sweet. I also enjoyed you got Rockford, I think, had a shout out too from Annalisa Enriquez who enjoyed the mango sticky rice. I believe
Oh
that's what you guys made, if I'm not mistaken.
yes.
But I also would like to shout out Chesterton's snow cone dessert, which is really nice. Although it was like a bit cold last week when we had the event, like it was still refreshing nonetheless. So,
I mean,
no,
it did get like warmer in the afternoon, so it was
true.
like that was like kind of like the perfect time to have it. But I had to say I did get a brain freeze. Like, like, I had to do one of those like, okay, just just
Just
kind
wait.
of like I had to sit down and just let it
Mhm.
like kind of
Yeah.
disperse because I was feeling it. I had that. I had a brain freeze, but yeah, and like in terms of like so we talk about like the food. So like in
Mhm.
terms of like the decorations of
Oh
like
yeah.
the booth though, which one was like kind of like your favorite there?
I have to go back to Park Ridge. Like their choice of like fabric, I think, was
Mm-hmm.
one of the highlights for me because it was all very bright. I think that's what attracted me to it. And I would also like to shout out. Well, I guess this kind of goes in relation to the booth, but those who dressed up in the culture too. Shout out to all of those who wore like sombreros for like in Bloomingdale. We were we represented Mexico, so we had brethren who were wearing sombreros, right? And then
Mhm.
those from
I
Chicago
saw
North.
someone with a poncho. I was like, oh, that's really
Okay.
nice.
I'm like kind of surprised. I'm like, oh, you have that. That's really cool. It's really nice to see the effort though, like
Mhm.
of brethren to do all that. Like Chicago North had brethren dressed up in like traditional Filipino attire, which is really cool to see.
Mhm.
Brethren from Park Ridge who were dressed in like Indian attire as well. So it was really cool. But yeah, overall,
Okay.
Park Ridge.
Yeah. Overall, what do you say? Overall, what?
I would give it to Park Ridge. Like their booth, the
Mm.
food, like overall, I thought was really nice, and it was good to see, you know, a lot of the brethren, taking part in decorating the booth. Like I mentioned before, those who prepared the dishes. So yeah, you could really tell that it was like a lot of hard work put into it.
Mm. Okay, like for me though, I have to give it to I have to give it to Chicago because like the nostalgia I felt when I was like standing in front of their booth, like seeing all the signs and like all the stuff like hanging from like in front of them. It's like there was like some nostalgia there. It's like you
Mhm.
felt like, oh yeah, like I remember stores and the fact that they called their booth Carinderia.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about
It's
that.
like oh, it's like, and they spelled it correctly too. They spelled it
Oh,
correctly too.
that's something that would get me the spelling.
Yeah, yeah. Like it was like kind of like the spelling that I was like expecting. Like, oh yeah, that is a yeah. Like I'm glad that they got it correct. And which lookout was it? Naperville. Like which lookout did America? Naperville,
Well,
right?
Well, let's clarify it a little bit because technically Chesterton did Hawaii, which is, America
Mm,
too. But Naperville did represent kind of like the southern, I'll call it like the southern US because they had like,
mm,
they were dressed in like, not really Western here, but like they had like cowboy hats and all of that stuff.
mm.
They also brought in like logs, I think.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
It
Like I
was
was
like a
like,
tree
they
stump or
went all
something.
out.
Yeah. No, that was
They
a lot
had
of
a
effort to
they
their
had a
their
tree
core.
stump with like an axe like lunch on it.
Wow.
I was like they really went all out with like the
Mm-hmm.
decorations.
That was really good.
You'll see like the stuff we're talking about. You'll see it later on like the pictures. But yeah, like it was it was so much fun like seeing like the different booths. And I wish we did like for our like lookout. I wish we did
Mhm.
dress up in like costumes because we were like, what if we were thinking, what if like we're the only ones like in costumes?
Um,
So we kind of held back on it, but then we saw everyone in costumes. Like, oh, we should have.
right.
We should have worn costumes. If only we knew. If only we knew like everyone is gonna like do costumes. It's like, oh, we should have. We should have done. Because it was really yeah, like you said, yeah. Like I would say Parker just like their boot like really stood out with like the like kind of like all like the flowing
Mhm.
fabrics and different colors, and then they had a photo booth. They had a photo
They
booth
did.
too, which is like really nice. Like I wish I thought of that too, like having like a photo booth, and it was like well decorated as well. So like yeah, there's a lot of booths that like really stood out to me. In terms of like the games and like the performances though, like for you, what's like sort of like any like performance that stood out to you or any of the games kind of like, oh, that's like fun.
Now, I would like to shout out like those. I hope I'm not forgetting any of the performers who did perform. From the INC original music.
Mm-hmm.
Like from our locale, Lyle and Maxine performed a piece, as well as Glyza and TJ, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
performed another piece later on. So it was great to hear their performances, and although it was kind of hard to like gather everyone like in the front because some of the booths were farther away, but still like being able to like hear the performance, join in with them, and then just join in their performance. It
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of fun, and then just cheering them on from the sidelines because that's what I'll probably be doing. Don't ask me to do a performance, please. But yeah, it's nice to see everyone participating in that way. Just
Kind of,
supporting too. Yeah.
I would say like the performances themselves had like it had kind of like an impromptu feeling too, right? Where it's like it's not very kind of what do you call it? Like strictly like just to perform. Like they were having
Mhm.
fun
Yeah.
performing, right? Like there might be mistakes here and there, but they were having fun, and the audience enjoyed it. Like although you did forget to mention someone, which I
Oh,
don't
my
want to
bad.
mention.
Oh no.
Chris, Chris
Oh,
Galiamo.
and he
Like
did
he
multiple. I'm so
sang. If I'm not mistaken, he sang two songs. I did have to walk away from like the event a little bit because I had to use like the restroom and it was like pretty far away,
Oh,
so I had to walk away. So I don't know if he sang three songs, but I definitely watched two of his performances at least.
at least two.
Mhm.
No,
So I do
his
want to
is-
give a shout out to him as well for that performance. And then for our locale, we did, like for us, we did that game. I know, like you kind of your locales were kind of either doing performances or doing games,
Mhm.
and we picked games. And we did like musical chairs.
Nice.
It was a little disorganized because I couldn't see like the people because there were like people
Oh,
like in front of me. I couldn't see the results. So like what was going like, oh wait, who's like who's still in the game? But yeah, like it did well, and I think they did have fun for that, and it just in general, like after this, like activity, like how, like when you were on your way home, like how were you feeling? Did you feel like like happy, giddy, like what was sort of like the emotion, the thoughts that were running through?
I was gonna say full at the end of all of it. I mean, full in the literal sense, but also, like full because, this event was, um, I guess one of the more bigger ones we've had in a little while. I mean, like, granted, we had like the powerlifting activity and
Mhm.
the CFO, the Care for Humanity event
Yes.
the week before or weeks before. So I guess throughout this, even like throughout this entire month, we've been able to see each other a lot more often than we usually would, especially with like congregations that are like further away. So it was just a continuation, at least to me, of like feeling that love of brethren, not only from your local congregation, but seeing all your friends from, those places that are like an hour ish away or even further.
Mhm.
Bonding over food, over good company. It was a lot of fun. So I did enjoy the event as a whole, and it was a very what do I call it? Like it was very relaxed, I would like to say. Just
Mhm.
because you got to like, walk around, sing, dance, eat, that kind of like vibe.
It
Or that
had a
kind of
feeling of like
environment, right?
one
That
big
kind of environment. Yeah.
picnic, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could call it that, like a big picnic or maybe like a potluck type of thing. Like, bring your own food and just have a good time. So
It was the park. It was because it was at a park. Like
I
it immediately made me think of like a picnic.
that was a lot of fun, and yeah, I would like to shout. I hope we get to cover every locale that we
Mhm.
mentioned. Who was there? Shout out also to Lake County, who had their Italy inspired booth next to ours actually. So it was a lot of good food. Pasta is like one of my guilty pleasures. So I did stop by there a couple of times to enjoy the pasta that they made. So very good. Um, Trying to remember. Oh, Milwaukee. Let's not forget Milwaukee, who did Japan, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
So, really, really good.
But yes, like I wish we had like more. We have more activities like this, like in the future. I do enjoy like I don't know. It's like activities that are in a park, whether it's like 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 kind of like a what do you call it? They call it a walk. That's what they call it, right? Like a walk. Like where you kind of just do a lap like around
Mhm.
the park, right?
Yep.
Or like you kind of do exercises, and or like even just socializing and just food, music, food, music, jokes. Like you're with everyone.
Mhm.
and you have like the songs of performances. It really, like, really makes you proud to be like part of, like, like that, like being in part of, like, and I would say, like, being also helping prepare for the activities
Yeah.
if you're like an officer, right? It makes you really happy to be part of like the CFO or the Christian family organizations, right? Whichever one you fall into.
Right, like everyone from like all ages helped with
Mhm.
whether that was the entire event, like setting up like the venue or like the stage, even like helping out with like the games because the children did participate in some games,
Mhm.
like that for them. Or if you helped out with, your booth or cooking the dishes, I think everyone knew they had a role to play in order to make this event successful, which is why I think when you look back on it as a whole, like you're able to say like, oh, I was part of something special. Like I was able to make this activity a success because of the work that I put in. So
Mhm.
you truly appreciate all the work that you put into it, and seeing everyone else enjoy what you created too is a bonus. So yeah, it was a great way to um, be united in accomplishing that task.
Mhm. Yeah, and yeah, it's in the name of the activity, right? CFO carriers. So actually let's do and let's learn how to assign,
Mhm.
how to assign CFO.
Oh yes.
Say Christian family organizations from our CS department. So let's see. How do you assign that?
This is your sign.
Hi, my name is Brother Ivan, and welcome to a brand new sign of the week. So, for this week, this is your sign. We'll be signing the words Christian Family Organization, or CFO. So, we're going to learn all the different letters to sign the word CFO, as well as how to actually fully sign Christian Family Organization. So, let's start out with Christian first. So, what we're going to do is shape the letter C just like this. So what you'll do with the letter C is take it towards the upper area of your chest that's closest to you, then go diagonally down to the opposite end, just like this. So from here to down here, or if you're left-handed, you go from here to here. Then afterwards, take both your hands just like this and pretend you're straightening something out in a parallel line, like this. So that's how you fully sign the word Christian, or the letter C. Next, we're going to shape the letter F with our hand just like this. So have all three fingers close together like this, with your thumb and your pointer touching together like this. To sign the word family, what you're going to do is actually shape the letter F with both of your hands just like this. Have the tips of your pointers and your thumbs touching each other like this, and then create a circle around you in the front, and then have your pinkies or the back of your hands touching each other just like this. That's how you sign the word family. And then for organization, or the letter O, again, you're just going to shape the letter O with your hand just like this. And to sign the word organization, it's just the same as family, only except you're going to be using the letter O. So with both your hands just like this, touch your tips together like this, and then make a circle, and then have your hands touch each other just like this. That's how you sign the word organization. So in full, it would be Christian, family, organization, or CFO. Thank you so much for joining us for this week. This is your sign, and have a blessed day. Thank you.
This is your sign.
Yes, thank you to our CS department for teaching us how to sign CFO or Christian Family Organizations if you want to sign that. But let's move on to the other parts of like our show, which is our CFO. And actually, let's see. Like we promise you, we'll show you the pictures from the activities. So here they are. Let's see what. Well, we already know what the activity is. But we do want to show you what happened during the activity, right?
Yeah, that CFO Kids was a lot of fun.
Yes, this is from like the CFO character. There he goes. You see Bloomingdale. There's Park Ridge, and then there's the sign from
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. And I think this one's from like Hawaii. or Hawaii. Yeah,
Chesterton, yep.
yeah,
Chicago
Chesterton.
North down there.
I mentioned the country. I forgot the yes. There's no like our boot. There's the no, there's the the one from neighborhood I was talking about earlier. And then yes, we had some of the performances and some of like the police officers uh did join us, during the activity. Yeah, so some of the group pictures from the local congregations. Yeah, this is taken with a drone, so it was really cool. Everyone was like looking at it. If you can see some people like pointing at the drone. Like, it was really cool. Because we do have some upcoming activities. We have our continuous local level CFO cares. These are the different schedules for your local congregations. Then we have our Unity games. There's bowling, there's volleyball, board games as well. Bowling is on the 25th, and I guess if I'm not mistaken, it's on the 26th.
Yep.
Right. But yes, we also have our backyard gardening 2.0 for the entire district. So those are both our recent and upcoming activities, in our local congregations and in our district in general. And I don't know, is it like a new part of our show? It's not really. It's kind of common part of our show now, which is, our comment challenge. So last week we had our topic about, what comes after high school. And let's see, some of the comments that stood out to us from that episode. It's first off the creative hashtags. See my locale there. And then they have Bloomingdale, Lexington, and Louisville's very, very creative hashtags. So keep giving out those creative hashtags, and we might see your locale there in our next episode. And we also have our great minds think alike. It's similar concepts, similar thoughts, and reactions from that. And like the advice I'm seeing shared here is about keep praying, in order to also do well in school, right? And then we have our great idea or suggestion, about this one in particular is about going to community college first before going to university, and just making sure that you can transfer your credits from there, because financially, I guess it's a better choice. And then we want to say congratulations to these local congregations for their like great participation in our previous episode. So who knows, you might see your lookout in there as well next week. But thank you for participating in our comment challenge and for watching our show today. I'm gonna pass it on to my co-panelists to give out shout outs.
Yes, continue to all of you in our YouTube live chats and those who are watching. Yeah, continue to share our broadcast. We like to see your consistency in from your local congregations, in your participation in our discussions, and as well as your reactions to our broadcasts. And yeah, continue to share it with all your friends, your loved ones, wherever they are. So that they get to learn more about our region as well, the District of Great Lakes. We would like to give, speaking of Great Lakes, our shout outs to local anniversaries. Again, Lake County, your celebration, I believe, is next Saturday. But your local anniversary was on May 18th. So happy anniversary to you, Lake County. And Cincinnati recently celebrated theirs as well on the 21st. So both of them are actually celebrating 29 years. So again, happy anniversary to Lake County and to Cincinnati. We would also like to thank our district ministers, our assistant district minister, Brother Art Agag, and our district minister, Brother Elmer Sarmiento. Thank you so much for continuing to support our broadcast. We would also like to thank the INCRadio, those who were helping us in INCRadio, Brother Wally Taray, station manager of INCRadio, Brother Angelo Aranyo Manalo, CEBSI President, CFO Coordinator, and Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our executive minister, who continues to support us in all CFO activities, like what we were able to sign today, the Christian Family Organizations. So for those in the District of Great Lakes, we will be definitely seeing you tomorrow and on Monday for our district-wide Unity Games. Again, bowling is tomorrow in Maryville, Indiana. Monday. Monday it will be in Libertyville, Illinois for the volleyball and board game. So if you are already traveling, please drive safe, and we will see you over the next couple of days. Don't forget to be phenomenal, stay phenomenal. If you're participating in the sports, play phenomenal, I guess. So yeah, have fun, be phenomenal in everything that you do. We will see you again once again next week on another episode of INCRadio Northern Midwest. Take care, everyone. Bye.